Welcome again to the Purposes of God. I am your host, Doug Krieger, for this special 29-part series, 29 videos in the Purposes of God. You are viewing and listening to video number 6. In this video, we will be discussing the nautical mile and a little bit more on the sacred cubit, the nautical mile juxtaposed to the statute mile. First of all, let's take a look at this calendar. What you're looking at here is a Hebrew or Jewish calendar. It is a calendar that is divided into 12 separate months, as you can see, and you can also tell the seasons. And it is also noted that it is divided into equal days of each month, 30 days per month, or 30 times 12 is equal to 360 days, which configures two 360 degrees in a circle or a full rotation around a circumference. The perfect, holy, biblical, or prophetic year is made up of these 12 months, each comprising 30 days, to make up a total of 360 days. Again, the number of degrees in a circle. Again, the Jewish calendar is 360-day year, or one prophetic year is equal to 360 days. Or 360-day year is equal to 360-degree circle, if you would. Solar day constitutes one 360-degree Earth rotation. And a circle is equal to 360 degrees. And then you have 60 minutes in an hour, another circle. Each degree of the great circle of the Earth is equal to 60 nautical miles. A nautical mile is equal to 1.15078 miles, or 6,076.12 feet, or the Earth's circumference can be determined by multiplying 360 degrees times 60 nautical miles, which will equal 21,600 nautical miles around the Earth. The length of the common cubit, now we're talking a common cubit here, not a sacred cubit, but the common cubit is 21.60 inches, which happens to be 3.60 inches less than 2520. Now, navy and nautical, the etymology of these words, we affirm is related to the actual Noah. Noah's Ark, then the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark Mile, or the Temple Mile. According to Sir Isaac Newton, the nautical mile calibrates to prophetic events occurring after the birth of Christ. Statute miles before the birth of Christ and after the birth of Christ, the calculations insofar as Gentile world powers in their relationship to Israel would be calculated in nautical miles. 2,520 in creation. Genesis 2:1-3, God links to creation. On the seventh day, God ended his work. God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it. In it, he had rested from all his work which God created and made. 360 degrees equals 1 day, or 1 rotation. 2,520 degrees would equal 7 days, or 7 rotations. And 7 times 360 equals 2520. 2520 is the signature of completion of the Almighty's plans found in prophecy and geometry of the temple, the ark, and creation. The linear standard of all creation, the hand or the palm of God, the finger of God. The sacred cubit as a fractal, 25.20 inches of 2520, connotes an elemental law in the creation of God. It is the standard of design according to the pattern of heaven shown to Moses on Mount Sinai. as Moses was divinely instructed when he was about to make the tabernacle. For he said, "See that you make all things according to the pattern shown you on the mountain." Exodus 3:8, 19:5, and Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 5. This could be considered the finger or the hand of God intervening in the material universe, the linear standard of all creation. Then the hand, literally the palm of the hand, was sent from him, and this inscription was written out. Again, Daniel chapter 5:24. The New American Standard Version reads, "He gave Moses 2 tablets of the testimony, tablets of stone, written with the finger of God." Exodus 31:18. The sacred cubit and the statute mile and the palm. It is the forearm, wherein the arm extends hand and fingers. The forearm is as the mother of the arm. The cubit, or ulna, is the mother of all dimensions, whether the human body or elsewhere, according to James Strong, who lived between 1822 and 1894, a great biblical scholar. But this common Hebrew cubit is approximately 20.4 to 0.6 inches in length. It is not the sacred cubit. Sir Isaac Newton, in Prolegomena, the sacred cubit, he concluded, is 7 palms, and the common cubit, that is the royal cubit, is 6 palms, based on the rod which measured Ezekiel's millennial temple in Ezekiel 40 verse 5. That is, 6 palms plus 1 handbreadth equals 7 palms, or 1 palm would be equal to 3.6 inches. Again, there's that 36, the 360, the palm, and 3.6 inch palm times 7 would of course equal 25.20 inches, the measurement of the sacred cubit. Now pi, or pi equaling 3.14, and the statute mile, the 2520, and Earth's measurements. 2520 times pi, which in this case would be 3.14159.265, would equal to 7,916.813 statute miles. That is, the average diameter of the Earth, plus an additional 3.14285, using pi as 22 over 7, that is, you divide 7 into 22, you're going to get 3.14285, and you add that to the 7,916.813, and you're going to get 7,920 statute miles. Without pi, this calculation is off by only 0.666 miles, greater than the sacred calculation. NASA calculations suggest this. 7,916 times pi will equal, that is, the diameter times pi will equal 24,871.403 statute miles, the circumference of the Earth, or 7,916.813 plus 0.666 will equal 7,917.479, a NASA calculation, times pi will equal 24,873.493, the Earth's precise circumference. And over here we have a map indicating that Earth's diameter would be equal to 7 times 360 times pi equals 7,916.813 statute miles. Adding back in pi, you'll get 7,920. Again, times pi will give you Earth's precise circumference. The walls of Jericho and the moon's diameter. Now here's something very fascinating. The word Jericho, when Israel was told to encompass the city about of Jericho, the first in the good land, literally means the moon city. The Ark of the Covenant carried by the Israelites circled Jericho 6 times, or 360 degrees times 6 equals 2,160 degrees, or As it says, you shall compass the city and go round about the city once. Thus thou shalt do 6 days. The circumference of the the Earth's moon is calculated by multiplying 2,160, which is the diameter of the moon, times pi. That will get you 6,785.8401 statute miles, which is the circumference of Earth's moon. The ancients used pi, the diameter across any circle, multiplied by pi gives the circumference of the circle. Therefore, C, circumference, equals pi times the diameter. In Joshua 6, verse 4, the 7th day they circled Jericho 7 times, or 7 times 360 degrees would equal 2,520 degrees. That is found in Joshua 6, 3 and 4. Again, the 2,520 is the sacred cubit, or fractal thereof. This is 360 degrees more than 2,160 degrees, which is 6 encirclements. The sacred cubit and the statute mile. Dr. Oppert. Dr. Julius Oppert was a French-German Assyriologist who lived between 1825 and 1905. Dr. Julius Oppert in the 1870s examined Assyrian meteorology from literary remains, Sennacherib tablet, concluded that the length of the Assyrian royal cubit was 25.20 inches. Also of the Persian royal cubit, it too was 25.20 inches. The Israelites' cubit at the time of Solomon was 25.2 inches, 64 centimeters. That's from Richard S. Davis of the World Book Encyclopedia. We are proceeding on the assumption of a 7 palm, 25.2-inch cubit, as described in the Encyclopedia Britannica, 11th edition article on weights and measures. This cubit was also much used by the Jews, and is so often referred to that it has eclipsed the 25.1-inch cubit in most writers. The Gemara, that is the commentary on the Mishnah, a commentary on the Torah, which when combined with the Mishnah, the oral Torah, constitutes the Talmud, names 3 Jewish cubits of 5, 6, and 7 palms. And as Oppert shows that 25.2-inch was reckoned 7 palms, 21.6 being 6 palms, we may reasonably apply this scale to the Gemara list and read it as 18, 21.6, and 25.2 inches. There's also a great amount of medieval and other data showing this cubit of 21.6 to have been familiar to the Jews after their captivity, but there is no evidence for its earlier date, and that is from the Encyclopedia Britannica, volume 28, page 484. Another archaeologist extraordinaire on the sacred cubit was William Matthew Flinders Petrie, who lived between 1853 and 1942. He says that the 25-inch cubit found in ancient Egypt, Assyria, Persia, Syria, and probably in Greece, varying from 25.1 to 25.4 inches. In modern Persia, Arabia, Greece, a pick or braccio of the same length also varies from 25.0 to 25.3. The mean of measurement from ancient structures around Jerusalem is 25.2 plus or minus 0.1, which is the Hebrew cubit. Inductive meteorology, or the recovery of ancient measures from the monuments, Sir William Matthew Flinders Petrie, London, UK, Hargrove, Sanders, 1877, page 67. Petrie, a little bit older rendition of him, in the sacred cubit, 25-20 inches, went on to say this unit was divided by 25 in Egypt and Persia, and also decimally in Greece. In fact, it seems very probable that the 25th, the inch, if I may so call it, was the real basis of the cubit. This is well known as the sacred Hebrew or Royal Persian and Chaldean cubit mentioned by Newton, Golius, Kelly, Quipo, and Oppert. The sacred Hebrew or Royal Persian cubit is found to have been used in Greece, Mohammedan Persia, and apparently by North American mound builders. The Assyrian cubit, Great Hu of Oppert, is found in Syria, Asia Minor, Sardinia, and Roman Britain, and is very probably the basis of medieval English units, including the British inch. This is by Petrie, W. M. Flanders, Inductive Meteorology, perhaps the foremost archaeologist the world, quite frankly, has ever known. Jerusalem Temple. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. Therefore thus saith the Lord, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in it, saith the Lord of hosts, and a surveyor's line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem. This is found in Zechariah chapter 1, 14 through 16, and you can compare that with Zechariah 2, 1 through 5, stretching out a line from Jerusalem to measure the Gentile world powers. This particular graphic, as you can see, is a picture of the third temple, that is, the temple mentioned in Daniel's 70th week as the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Now, you see it here right next to the Dome of the Rock. In this particular position, it reflects the discoveries of Dr. Asher Kaufman insofar as where the Ark of the Covenant was placed. And as you can see, it is to the north side of the current Temple Mount area. This concludes video number 6. Again, I am your host, Doug Krieger of the Tribulation Network, and now we're moving on to video number 7 in our special 29 video series on the purposes of God. Thank you again for listening and for viewing.